Shabbat Shalom. Hello, everybody. And I'm just waiting on my guests. So in the meantime, and in between time, I am going to fix my microphone. How about now? There we go. Let's see what that sounds like. All right. Waiting on my girl, Rhonda Finley, to come in. And as we do that, all right, everybody, welcome to the show. And I am here with a good friend of mine, Rhonda Finley. And as we wait for Rhonda to come in, just going to play a little memory lane for the Flipboard EDU podcast. And
this is your favorite coach, Coach Jeffrey. It wasn't until later in my career that I realized that applying creativity to problem solving is critical in engaging students. Claudio Zavala Jr. and Fred Benitez don't just understand that component of the learning cycle, they also use it to train teachers and students. Both of them inspire my growth as an educator. Claudio Zavala Jr. and Fred Benitez are renowned educational technologists in Burleson ISD and Eanes ISD, respectively, that develop training for teachers, staff, and students. Both are Adobe education leaders and have presented at educational conferences like ISTE, TCEA, and Adobe for Education. In this episode, we discuss the importance of being creative in teaching and problem solving. We discuss why it's important to take bite-sized or chicken nugget opportunities to incorporate creativity into the learning.
And that's why I'm so passionate about more schools having media in the curriculum. Because, Coach Jeffrey, when you talk about marginalized students, there are schools that do have this, but a lot of students of color in their schools, they don't have it. And certainly people will say some schools marginalized with the marginalized students don't have a budget. They don't have to have a full production studio, Coach Jeffrey. They don't have to have 3 and 4 cameras, green screen, light, and everything like that. Nowadays, if students have a cell phone, which depending on what grade level you're in, if you're talking about junior high school, most students have a cell phone. And as long as they can get some apps, they can start right there creating content and really starting to, again, push out positive pieces of content, tell positive stories that can inform and inspire other people.
man, I love my boy Clement. Clement dropped that knowledge on that episode. And as we wait, we will just...
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this or any broadcast belong solely to our guests or our hosts. These broadcasts do not represent or reflect the views of their employers, sponsors, or affiliated organizations.
Welcome to the Flipboard EDU podcast with your host, William Jeffrey, where we collaborate, communicate, and educate with the greatest educators in the world on Flipboard. Let's start the show.
Welcome back, Flipboard fam. This is your favorite coach, Coach Jeffrey. And on March 2nd, 2021, Texas Governor Gregory Abbott, along with Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves, decided to waive the mask requirements for their respective states. Face masks have become our new normal in the COVID-19 pandemic since they were quickly required to slow the spread of the coronavirus. Moreover, public health experts say that masks are key in ensuring schools are safe for students and staff. This plan was shared with all stakeholders simultaneously as a newscast without mention of a strategy for the safe return of students, teachers, or guidance for transportation, extracurricular competitions, and special events such as proms, graduations, that all happen in the spring. So in this episode, I share the mic with fellow educators to explore the pros and cons of this type of decision making from an educational standpoint. We cover the impact of the decision on students and teachers and talk about the push to fully open up as the fourth largest city in the United States grapples with 4 virulent strains of the coronavirus. So like we always do about this time, let's collaborate, communicate, and educate with the best educators in the world right here on Flipboard EDU Podcast. Welcome back, Flipboard fam. This is your favorite coach, Coach Jeffrey, and I am here to talk to you today about something that is probably coming your way. Our governor has decided to lift the mask mandate and opens the great state of Texas at 100%. This happened on March 2nd, 2021. Our governor decided that it was time for him to do that. There are some questions about how and why he did it. Specifically, there was a very large freeze where our power structure was not up to code and it couldn't handle the winter weather. So a lot of people lost power. A lot of people had damage to their houses because they couldn't keep it heated during this particular cold snap. And a lot of people were blaming the power infrastructure, not to have a political thing, but it appears that by some people that this mandate being lifted is a political issue from the way that he went about releasing it. A lot of people were upset because they felt like he didn't use much data. But I also have here his press release, and we're going to play the press release right after I get through talking. And just want to get some ideas from educators. How do you feel about the mask mandate being lifted here in the state of Texas? And then what does that look like in education? Like, how are we supposed to deal with this? As a lot of educators, especially from what I can tell, we're waiting on guidance on this. And it seems like he's just going to make sure the state is open, and then school boards and the Texas Education Agency is going to figure it out from there. We have some issues that are up in the air, like prom, getting kids back to school, graduations, all of those things, because the coronavirus is obviously still in effect, but the governor did state that he wanted to get things back to normal. I have mixed feelings on it because I can see good and I can see bad. But instead of getting my opinion all the time, I did ask other educators to fill in. So after the press release, you will hear what other educators have to say about the reopening.
Governor Greg Abbott today issued an executive order, GA 34, lifting the mask mandate in Texas and increasing capacity of all businesses and facilities in the state to 100%. The governor made the announcement at Montelongo's Mexican restaurant in Lubbock in an address to the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce. With the medical advancements of vaccines and antibody therapeutic drugs, Texas now has the tools to protect Texans from the virus, said Governor Abbott. We must now do more to restore livelihoods and normalcy for Texans by opening Texas 100%.